think we can get started. Welcome, everyone. Justin is my name. I'm the head of Procurement Solutions at Odyssey. Delighted to have you all here today to learn about South Africa's leading lithium battery manufacturer, iGen. We're joined here by Taole. Before I provide a formal introduction, just give a few admin notes. First of all, let me share my screen. All right. All right. Yeah, a few admin notes before we begin. First of all, welcome. And if you have not done so already, please be sure to register with Odyssey Procure in the link that will be shared in the chat box shortly. You can sign up there for free and gain access to this presentation, which will be posted on the website right after this webinar, as well as past webinars, information about equipment, technical data sheets, and more information about everything we're going to discuss today, including commercial terms and things like that. So sign up. You can register for free on the website just posted in the chat here. And then you'll also be assigned a dedicated account manager once you sign up. And that's at no cost, but that account manager is there to support with all of your technical or commercial inquiries related to what we are going to outline today. And then also, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them throughout the presentation. If something we say sparks a question, don't hesitate, feel free to note it, but they will be addressed at the end of the presentation. So we will have a Q&A session and we'll get to as many questions as we can. All right, so before I introduce Taole as our speaker here, I'm just going to provide an overview of Odyssey and what we do and how we can support your company. So let's dive into it. So Odyssey Energy Solutions is the largest climate tech platform enabling distributed renewable energy companies and financiers to develop projects faster. So that may sound like a lot, and yes, we do a lot. So how do we do that? How can we help your company? Well, I'll outline that, but a little bit further about us first as a platform. We have more than 2,600 companies on our platform. We've deployed more than 1.6 billion in capital vis-a-vis our partner networks with commercial capital such as private banks, but also with concessional capital such as the World Bank and DFIs globally. We have more than 30 OEM partners, including strong partnerships with the likes of iGen. And we have facilitated the connection of more than 2.3 million we facilitated more than 2.3 million connections. What does that mean? That means access to power. So particularly in rural communities, mini-grid sites, and otherwise those who do not have access to power, we've connected vis-a-vis our platform. And we've deployed more than, we have more than 1.6 billion in capital available, and we've deployed more than $260 million of capital. So in our team at Odyssey, we focus on supporting with procurement financing and all things related to supply chain for renewable energy companies. And we do this through a number of initiatives that we have, and it can best be summarized through the following support. Support through the best payment terms for your next procurements. We do this by de-risking your supply chain with due diligence on both the OEMs and the equipment, but also taking the full supply chain, which enables us to offer you better payment terms. Also, we offer support for working capital, which reduces the constraints and improves the the working capital available to renewable energy companies, and we'll outline how we can do that to support your company. We offer a very simplified quoting process, which then turns into a contract once we move forward with procurement support. So there's little red tape. It's much bureaucratic than a typical bank, and it takes a lot less time than applying for financing through a bank. And then related point is we do handle all aspects of supply chain for procurement. So if you're bringing equipment into Kenya and you want to get equipment there, you want to warehouse it, we can handle that. If you want to bring in equipment to South Africa or to neighboring countries, we can also handle that. And the working capital solution to finance depends on the equipment available and which market it's going to. So we work particularly close with a number of OEMs in our network, as mentioned. Again, iGen is at the forefront of those partnerships. We have best price guarantees with the likes of iGen, which ensure that on whatever FOB or CIF price you're getting for your project is guaranteed through us in support of your project. We have equipment training and commissioning support available either directly or indirectly with the likes of iGen. And we have aftercare options and on-site support through our network throughout Africa. And as I mentioned, we offer better payment terms for the working capital solution available for your procurement. These are a number of companies that we work with that we have best price guarantees in place by a specific region. You can see iGen here. And this next slide shows kind of where we can support throughout the phase of a procurement. So number one, in the supply chain phase, so for the likes of, let's say, iGen, if you're importing batteries into Nigeria, for instance, what we can offer is a low-cost deposit with as low as 10 or 15% deposit to us. We then pay iGen on our own terms that iGen's provided us. We keep you as the client fully aware and transparent in the process of the procurement. So when the equipment's available for shipment, we then bring it into Nigeria. We handle all clearing and customs related costs, and then we put it at our warehouse in Nigeria. So that's the first phase. And then the balance can be paid within a certain period, depending on what's agreed with the client, and then that can be released. Now, the second phase of the offering is what we call the construction phase or construction finance, where if the client, the renewable energy company, requires financing to get equipment to the site and then commission at the site based on milestone payments such as equipment delivery to the site, commissioning, etc., then we can offer financing for that period of the project. But it's contingent on much more due diligence, not only on the project, but the off-taker, as well as you as a renewable energy company. So to summarize, the supply chain phase is much more equipment dependent and a little bit faster in terms of how quick that can be deployed and that working capital solution provided. The construction phase is still quick to qualify for that financing, much quicker than a bank or financial institution, but requires a little more due diligence related to the project. So the procurement financing stage, the supply chain stage, can be summarized in these three steps. We provide first a proposal to the client. Let's say this example of iGen batteries into Nigeria, and we propose a full GDP price. That means landed in the country, inclusive of everything. That price is then agreed by the client or compared accordingly to other options, other financing options, if they were to clear themselves, if they were to pay themselves and do this. And so we have that deliberation with the client. Once it's agreed, then we request the deposit payment, which kickstarts the procurement. Then it's brought into the country, as noted, which is step 2, which is subject to standard transportation timelines. And then it's available for pickup in the country. So in this process, the proposal actually becomes the contract. So there's a quotation outlining the terms, and then there's T's and C's in that contract. And part of those T's and C's state that the moment the deposit is received, that quote becomes a contract. And it's 2, sometimes 3-page quotation/contract designed to be very simple and easy to understand for our clients. Related point about supply chain support for every step of procurement. We offer full transparency into the supply chain on our platform. We have dedicated account managers that can walk through and be available at every step of the process. We can offer informed procurement decisions on equipment you're considering, let's say to match iGen's battery with a trusted PCS. And then warehousing is included in the proposal for up to 60 days. Or if you want to organize through Odyssey your own warehousing, and we often do this for OEMs and financiers, then we can also do that. So get in touch with us today. The best way to do it is vis-a-vis the link in the chat box. Share with us your requirements, your needs. All questions are welcome. Yeah, and then we'll be in contact. So without further ado, it's my honor to now introduce. Oh, before I do that, the suspense is killing everyone, I know. But before I do that, just a reminder, please feel free with questions, any commercial inquiries. They may not be addressed exactly on this webinar, but we will follow up with you to address anything specific, let's say related to pricing or something. But this webinar will be made available on the Odyssey Procure website. And if you have any questions about what I just discussed or referenced, feel free. We can either address it in Q&A or in follow-up conversations. All right, now here we go. Without further ado, it's my honor to introduce Taole. Taole is the technical manager at iGen. He's been involved in all aspects of the battery industry and manufacturing industry for most of his career. He's been involved in the BMS, he's been involved in design, he's been involved in project system designs and considerations. He has an electronics background, and before iGen, he's worked at the likes of multinationals like Bosch, where he honed his electrical engineering background. He has an honors degree in electronics engineering and also in energy management systems. And like many of us, he's been in the industry for over 5 years, which is really the prime time of the renewable energy industry and previously in the electronics industry. So Taole, take us away, my friend. We look forward to learning all about iGen Solutions.
Thanks, Justin. Hi, everyone. My name is Taole, as Justin has said. I'm from iGen, and I'm the technical manager. So here today, I'm really excited to discuss who iGen is and what we can offer, and touch a little bit more about our relationship with Odyssey. So it is an exciting partnership we have with Odyssey. And so the whole aim is to shorten the time it takes from the point your client has a vision of having energy autonomy to the point where the project has been completed. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so iGen is a battery manufacturing company. We are based in South Africa. We're headquartered in Joburg. We started in 2018 with production starting the following year. We see ourselves as an innovator and a thinker in the energy storage space. We started in an incubation hub close to Randburg and Sandton, and we grew from that to over 60 staff as we speak. So we've dedicated ourselves and we have dedicated teams that do research and development just to offer a different solution and keep up to speed with the development in the renewable and energy storage sector. So just a little bit about who we are. We are a people-driven company. We see ourselves as a catalyst for change. We are an innovator. So at the core of what we're trying to do is we're trying to facilitate clean, reliable, and cost-effective power, not only in South Africa, but on the African continent. We put a lot of emphasis and a lot of resources on research and developing best practices so that we can stay ahead and stay relevant within our industry. As you know, it's a fast growing and ever evolving industry, the solar and energy storage industry, that is. We see ourselves as I said, a catalyst for change. So not only climate change, which is the obvious one, but social security and human survival. So we want to ensure that there's just energy for everyone. There's energy security, and we improve the lives of people. So as I said, we started in 2018. In 2019, we started our first production. We started with about 10 staff, and from then we've grown ever since. So just to give you an idea of some of our achievements and milestones over the way, we've started with 9,600 kilowatt hours per year in 2019, 2020, and the following year we increased that to 12,000 kilowatt hours. In 2020, we managed to push out a little over 12,000 kilowatt hours. But what we then do, we grew our staff base and we grew our research team considerably. And as a result, last year, we were able to push out much more. So we did over 25,000 kilowatt hours per year. Just as an indication, iGen produces batteries of all sizes. We support and supply to installers who do residential, small businesses, commercial, and industrial applications. So we have batteries and we produce batteries in South Africa that cater for all scenarios. So our core business is battery assembly, BMS development. So we, at the heart of the working of the battery, we develop some of the BMSs in our products. We develop ourselves. We also do contract manufacturing, where someone would come and they have a big project, and for the next 8 months they would need a set quantity of batteries with certain specifications. We're quite flexible in our contract manufacturing, so we also open to that. We're also a system integrator. By that I mean we don't just develop batteries, we also develop things like your energy management systems, your monitoring portals. So if you buy an iGen battery, you're not just buying a normal battery. That's what makes it different. You're buying into a technology company that sees the vision going forward. So with most battery companies, besides getting a battery, it's difficult to actually understand what's happening on the battery. There's no real monitoring that the installer can do to do any preemptive or real-time monitoring. There's not much integration between, especially with industrial and commercial installations. There's not much integration between all the things that would be on site. As an example, your air conditioning systems, your fire suppression systems, all of these are independent for a typical battery manufacturer. In fact, even for an inverter manufacturer, the philosophy up to now has been to keep these separate. But we have a different philosophy. We believe that everything and anything that is electronic can be integrated into one single energy management system. That's what makes iGen different. As I said, we are a research-based company. We are a developer and we are a thinker. So as for this partnership with Odyssey, there's certain product in our product range that we want to share more details with you, and that is one of our low voltage offerings. So, and also one of our high voltage and commercial offerings, which is the Z range and the Giga range, respectively. So, as I said, we have many different products at iGen, but just to keep this presentation short, we'll focus on two specific products that we've partnered with Odyssey on. The first one is the Z range. So the Z range is a residential low voltage battery, mainly used in telecommunications, server rooms, small businesses, and residential applications. It is a smart battery that uses intelligence at its core. So it is adaptive in the way it reacts, and it protects the cells. It has 1C rating. So in the market, most batteries would have a half C rating. By that I mean, if a battery is a 5 kilowatts, you can at most pull or draw 2.5, sometimes 3 kilowatts. With us, you get to pull the full 5 kilowatts from a 5 kilowatt battery. That's one of the things that makes us unique, besides our deep understanding and our research into battery management systems. The batteries, though being 1C, we do not suffer from low cycle life. So if you get a 1C battery, typically the 1C, the cycle life would be lower. We still guarantee high cycles and high performance and reliability. So these are some of the highlights and features of the Z range. I mentioned the BMS and how adaptable, and it has built-in intelligence to keep learning over time. It is a high performance battery. So as I said, you can get 1C from it. It's user friendly and it's easy to use. It fits into a standard server, and it does allow for remote monitoring. So the battery and our BMS protocol integrates with a whole wide range of inverters. The main ones being Victron, your Goodwill, Growatt, Sunsync, and there. So that's it about our low voltage Z-Gen. As Justin indicated, if you guys have any other questions specific to these products, you feel free to post them and we'll be sure to respond to those. We do have a spec sheet of the Z range available, and you can familiarize yourself. As Justin indicated, these will be made available on the Odyssey Procure website, so feel free to have a look and see exactly what we're talking about when we say we have a low voltage offering that's unique and different from what you may be used to. Now, the next product I would like to speak a bit about is our high voltage offering, which is a Giga. We call it the Giga Rack because, as I said, in the beginning, we were more of a research and visionary company. We wanted to build a battery or a profile of batteries that would exceed 1 gigawatt. So we wanted to have a profile of batteries in the market that exceeds gigawatts. So that's just a bit about the history of the Giga. But basically, the Giga is made up of battery modules. So a battery module or a battery pack is a 14 kilowatt pack. And these battery packs would then be grouped together to form a larger battery. So we have a 3-tiered system and BMS architecture for these. So the pack itself, the 14 kilowatt battery pack or battery module would have its own BMS. And as you stack a couple of these together, you would end up with a rack. And the rack itself would have its own BMS. And if you pair a couple of racks together to achieve something like 500 kilowatts or 1 megawatt, you do definitely need a couple of racks. So when you have multiple racks, you would need, we have another BMS that takes care of multiple racks. So that's our architecture with regards to the high voltage. The low voltage batteries have a single BMS, and each BMS is autonomous, and these communicate with each other, and among themselves there is a master that would communicate with the inverter. With the high voltage offering, however, we have a 3-layered architecture, as I said, one taking care of the packs, the cells themselves, one taking care of the racks and current distribution and internal resistances, and one taking care of communication with all the racks and communication with the inverter and integration with things like your generator, your alarm systems, and all those stuff. So we're happy to discuss and share some of these with you if you do have questions. So what makes the Giga unique? First of all, it's the 3-layer, or it's the 3-level architecture that we have. So for multiple racks, as I said, there is a BMS that will make sure this performs and acts as one battery. That's the first thing. The second thing is our Giga can go up to 1,400 volts per rack. So currently in the market, there is no inverter that does allow 1,400 volts. But as I said, these things evolve over time and they evolve quickly. So when there is an inverter that comes along and that does support 1,400 to 1,300 volts, iGen is ready. That's the first thing. We can go a lot higher in terms of voltage. Maybe sometimes even double what the other battery offerings are. It has interfaces for your smoke detection and fire suppression. It has the ability to monitor not only the battery bank, but you can get a holistic view. You can get a view of the cells themselves, the temperature, and a whole range of things. It has a wide range of protections built in to make sure the battery lasts over 10 years. So as part of our warranty, we warrant that this battery will last a minimum of 10 years. And we've built in protections within the battery to ensure that this battery does function and does last in different environments, obviously, for 10 years. And some of the highlights of the Giga, by the way, what you're seeing on the right here, that's a picture of one rack of the Giga. And that would have sometimes 8 battery modules, sometimes 10. It can go up to 15 in one rack. So that's what you see. As I indicated before, there is battery racks, and then we have a control module that manages the rack itself. And then once you want to go higher in the capacity, you would have multiple racks, and those multiple racks would also have a BMS that protects them. Some of the key features is that the Giga is fast and accurate in terms of collecting data from the cells. So some of the stuff or some of the challenges that battery manufacturers face is if you have multiple cells. So as an example, if the image you're seeing here, there would be typically 160 cells or even more, so up to 200 cells. So to collect real-time data from these can be a challenge. However, we overcome this through monomer accumulation. Our batteries are quite flexible and configurable. As I said, they are made up of small modules. So you can increase the size of a rack up to 15. So you can start a rack of maybe 6 modules and go up all the way to 15. And if that's not enough, you can add a second rack you can add a third, a fourth, or fifth rack to achieve your goal. And our BMS is smart enough to be able to manage the current distribution among different racks. That's some of the challenges. Our BMS also has inter-rack balancing. So one thing you'll not see in the field is if you have parallel racks, one rack is at a slightly higher voltage than the other rack, and there won't be any real balancing between them. What we do, we have multi-rack active balancing, and we have multi-pack active balancing. So the packs themselves, the 14 kilowatt modules, they can share energy amongst themselves evenly, thereby increasing the lifespan of this battery. These are some of the protections and innovations we've added into our batteries to make sure, although they are high performance and high power, they can last over 10 years. We have, as I said, adaptive state of charge algorithms, and this philosophy is not only in our high voltage offering, but also in our low voltage offerings. It's also a user-friendly interface. It's easy to expand. It has remote monitoring and control. I'll speak more about this in the later slides. It's robust. It's built in with temperature and vibration protection and anti-interference protection. And that's that. So if you have questions about the Giga or the Z, please feel free to ask us, and we'll be happy to answer your questions after this presentation. We've done as well, we've partnered with OEM and project planners and engineering companies. So we've done containerized solutions as part of our offering. So we would not only provide the battery itself, but we would then integrate with some of our systems, the fire suppression, the air conditioning systems, and we would then give insights into project sizing, laying of the plinths, and all these project planning information. So not only do we provide you with the battery, but we have a team that is dedicated to assist you in planning for your project. I think that's the other thing that makes us different. We're not just there to sell a battery to you, we're there to be a partner with Odyssey, obviously. So you would reach out to Odyssey and provide the details of what you require. Odyssey would then assign you to a case manager on their side, and their case managers works with us to be able to give you the best solution. So not only do we provide you products, battery products, but we provide you with advice and training on our batteries, and a commissioning checklist. So we assist you most of the time. If it's out of the country, we assist you remotely. But obviously, the first step is you would need to go through a training. So we do host monthly trainings that I'll ask our sales team to share the link to for you to register. If you are an installer or you are APC, feel free to join our trainings so that you are familiar with our products and the commissioning process becomes easier. We do containerized solutions of all sizes. For instance, this one was a 600 kilowatt hour solution, and the inverter was a 200 kilowatt test. So just a bit more about our BMS architecture. It has 3 levels. As I said, the first level is to protect the cells themselves through voltage measurement, temperature measurement. The second level is through internal resistance measurements and current, collecting data from all these battery packs. The third level is communication with the inverter, the PCF, and communication with other peripheral devices like your generators, your air conditioning, fire suppression systems, gathering data from those as well, just to know if it's safe for the battery to operate. our battery can do that. So as part of our offering, for especially multi-rack configurations, we do have products that assist you when you're going to do projects with multiple racks. So for instance, if you have more than 3 racks in your project, you would need other and extra peripheral equipment. We offer those. As I said, we're not only selling batteries, but we want to be there assisting you in your project. So the last thing that I want to talk about that makes us unique as iGen is as part of our offering, we have what you call an energy management system. So this does not come with the battery build. It does not come with the battery. It's a separate offering, but what it does allow plant owners and installers is a holistic overview of their plant. So we have a server-based and a serverless one, so a cloud-based one, and a physical server on site. What this does, it has two-way communication with all the devices, so digital devices that you have on site. This can be your generators, this can be your air conditioning, this can be your electricity meters, this can be your camera systems, your alarm systems, or any other system that is digital and can be monitored. Our energy management system can gather data, and if these devices do allow for remote instructions, so if like a generator, you can give an instruction to start the generator. Our system does allow you from a dashboard to start the generator or automate it. The dashboard also gives you options to do your peak shavings calculations. Your if it's a big building with tenants, you can sell electricity at separate rates, at different rates, at different times. So it allows you a whole lot of configurability and oversight of your whole plant. Because it's an offering by iGen, it would be able to monitor the health of your battery. So if you have one rack, you'll be able to see that rack, you'll be able to monitor each pack and the cells in each pack. So you can monitor cells, even if you have 200 cells, 500 cells, 1,000 cells on site, you are able to monitor each and every one. You are able to see exactly what's happening on the battery, exactly what's happening through the inverter, on the inverter. And if there are things that the inverter allows you to control, you are able to give instructions to the inverter through our system. So obviously there are inverters like Victron, like Attest, that allow you a monitoring portal. This monitoring portal gives you a basic overview of the battery and a basic overview of other things like your generator, but that's it. It would not show you what your energy meter is reading. It would not allow you control of your cameras or your access points. So if you have a security system that needs certain people not to access, or that needs to be closed at certain times, it will not allow you to do that. It will not communicate directly with a fire suppression system. So that's where our energy management system comes in. We do offer the energy management system, but as I said, it's not part of the Giga offering. So that's a separate solution. And we do require you to go through specific training for the energy management system. And after your training, we assist in commissioning projects with energy management system. The Giga can still operate 100%. Without the energy management system. The Giga comes with a HMI screen that allows you to monitor the battery cells, the battery packs, and the battery rack. So you do still get a holistic view of the battery without having the energy management system. The energy management system is designed to take it a step further to give you a holistic view of the plant itself. We've done a couple of sites. Not us, but some of our installers that we work closely with. So as I said, we produce batteries that are all the way from residential 5 kilowatts to commercial 1.22 megawatt batteries. So we work closely, and we have integration with Victron. We have integration with SunSync, Sungrow, Day, SMA. So we have integration with all the major inverter brands in the market. These are just some of our sites that have our batteries. And these are some of the partners that we integrate and work with. Obviously, key to that are partners like Odyssey, who assist in terms of the procurement and financing of projects to make it a lot easier to move from a vision to a fully installed and operational system. For now, that's it for me. Thank you guys for attending. As I said, if you have any questions, feel free to post them, and we'll be sure to answer all of those.
Thank you so much, Taole. Wow, what an overview. You guys are really putting together some interesting solutions here, perfect for the market. And love to see all the integrations, all the range of products, and even the EMS included. It's really great. All right, so now let's move into Q&A. We have quite a few questions came in, so let's get into it. And I'll try to rotate here, Taole, between maybe one for me, one for you, and then go from there. And if these answers spur more questions, feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. All right, so let's get into it. A lot of questions here about financing. So what are the typical financing costs charged for the utilization of construction phase financing offered? State terms of interest rate. Great question. The most common question. So just for everyone's context again, the questions are referring to this phase of the project financing cycle. So getting the equipment to site, and again, this is designed because a lot of EPCs or developers, even if they do power purchase agreements on 5-10-year PPAs, still often have kind of milestone payment related to getting the equipments to site. And so that's what this construction phase was designed to do. And so to answer your question, there's usually a handling fee because it's tied to also Odyssey handling the procurement because it's for the equipment finance itself. That handling fee is usually around 2%. And then depending on the tenor of the loan, it can be as low as 1.2% per month up to 2% per month, based on the factors and associated market. So the rates in Nigeria are very different, for instance, than South Africa. South Africa being on the lower end per month, and versus Kenya, etc. So roughly between 1.2 to 2% per month plus the 2% equipment handling fee. And we believe that's very competitive based on compared to local rates. So hope that answers your question. And then let's go to the other end of the question, the most recent one. I think it's for Taole. So tell us more about the warranty. Tell us about the warranties, Taole. Maybe you can expand on that. And maybe I'll just add if there's extended warranties available, or any considerations related to maybe if the PCS is a certain brand, etc.
So we do have a list of PCSs that we integrate with. And for the warranty, we do expect that you use a PCS that is paired, whose integration was officially done by IGEN. The warranty is 10 years and 6,000 cycles. I'm assuming this is warranty on the battery, right? So we don't do, yeah. the warranty on our batteries and the equipment that comes with our batteries is 10 years and 6,000 cycles.
Amazing. Great. Doesn't get higher warranty than that in the lithium space. All right, next question. Is there a maximum financing amount available to a single company, and does it work as a revolving line of credit? Great question. For now, we have not defined that as a revolving line of credit for a company. It's more project-based right now. And that is up to $2.5 million. We may be open to it, but it's not a typical financing for working capital. It's specific to the procurement for the CapEx of a project. And one reason we've done that is because, and many here may know this, EPCs, their own credit worthiness may not be a reflection on the bankability of the project, right? And so if the bankability of the project is better than a revolving kind of working capital offering of a loan that a bank would otherwise give to a company, then it's a different consideration that we want to be mindful of and make sure we offer a solution to. So I hope that answers your question. So for now, it's project specific, up to $2.5 million. If we're open to conversations, if otherwise, for a company in terms of revolving credit, but it would always be tied to the CapEx, right? So I hope that's clear. All right, next question. I don't know how you want to take this one, Taole, but what is your current pricing per kilowatt hour in USD? Maybe you don't want to take it offline.
So for all pricing related matters, I'll ask the Odyssey team to share details and get the panelists in touch with our sales team. They'll be happy to discuss and break down some of our pricing, not only in rands but in USDs as well.
Sounds good. All right. Next, all the next questions are more technical, Taole. So here we go. Or should I say, at least for you. So how can your batteries, I would assume, enable system efficiencies that lower cost reflective tariffs?
I'm not sure if I understand the question. So can you give the attendee an opportunity to maybe retype? Or do you guys understand what it means?
Yeah, maybe if we could have a little more clarity from the attendee. I guess I would take that to kind of mean, how can you lower if in a PPA type of arrangement, how can you just lower the cost of how can the system efficiencies lower the cost of power, I guess would be my my read on it, but maybe we can table and come back to it. Are there any special
Yeah, maybe
considerations?
I don't want to maybe answer incorrectly.
Oh,
So I'd rather let's give them an opportunity to clarify what they mean. But I'll be happy even if the clarification from them comes later. I'll be happy to answer this and post it maybe on your platform as as an answer. But I can answer the others.
go for it, my friend.
Which software are you using for monitoring and how effective is it? So we use a custom developed monitoring software and platform. So it's not a third party software. And it's difficult to talk about the effectiveness. As you know, I'm from IGN and my answer would be biased. But it does offer you real-time monitoring, and it does offer you a view not only of the battery itself, so you can get every detail from the battery. You can get details from the inverter as well. So the same information you would get from an inverter's own monitoring platform, you can get. Plus, you can get to control some of the stuff from the inverter. So if the inverter allows for instructions, Modbus instructions, you can send an instruction to the inverter. Some inverters don't allow, and this keeps changing over time. But in case it allows, you are able to control the inverter. You are able to see your usage of your generator. If you do have a generator, you are able to see the state of your fire suppression system. You are able to activate it if it allows that. You are able to see and monitor your electricity usage to an external meter. So if you have an energy meter, you are able to monitor the usage. You are able to see on the same system things like your camera system. So if you have a monitoring security and access control system, you can monitor it and you can see the live status of your system, and you can control it from the same platform. So I hope that answers the effectiveness of this platform. It is a cloud and a server-based platform. So to access it, you would need either an app or you would need to go to a website. And that's how that works. Do you provide battery lease extension? So I'm not sure if I'm going to assume that the battery was ours from the beginning and it was leased from the beginning from iGen. Is the question then, do we then can we extend the lease? If I'm understanding the question wrong, please feel free to correct me. Obviously, the lease periods are designed specifically taking into consideration various factors, so including payback and the health of the batteries and stuff like that. So for that, I think it's more of a discussion that we have to sit and have with our sales team because they take a whole bunch of stuff into consideration when designing the lease period in the beginning, because the equipment has to be financed, and the financing house would then have to recover its money within a certain period. So extension of that goes beyond just iGen, but the people financing the lease, if it makes sense for them as well. So iGen itself does not provide the financing. You would have other partners of iGen would provide the financing. Okay, there's still that question. So if the attendee does clarify, how can it enable system efficiency that lower cost the reflective tariff? So if you can just get a clarification on that, I'll be happy to answer that.
Well, in the meantime, Taole, if I may, kind of selfishly also ask some questions. Well, we have a few more minutes remaining. Take them however you wish, but I think the first question is more of a general question about trends you're seeing in the industry. I think we've gone through a few cycles now of trends for lithium, in particular, not only in terms of the chemistry and the makeup, but also now with more adaptability of high voltage, and then related PCSs that are more versatile related to adaptability of high voltage. So in that kind of lens, what do you see as more trends happening in the industry, whether it's simply pricing, of course, which we see is dropping daily, or technology related to the PCSs and integration, and maybe related to that, what excites you of any of those trends? So there's a lot there, but I'm just kind of interested to hear your perspective.
Of course. Yeah, so there's a couple of obvious trends. One being the pricing. Pricing has really gone down over the past couple of months, and I think the trend will continue. Pricing of lithium batteries and related equipment, so your PCSs, they will continue to go down per kilowatt hour, the cost per kilowatt. So I think that's obvious for everyone to see. The one trend, maybe two that are
Bless you.
thanks. There's two trends that I've particularly taken note of. Is that up to now, the regulations around safety have been quite relaxed for installations of these systems. But I've seen now how insurance companies are beginning to tighten that gap. So there's pieces of legislations that have been proposed in South Africa, and insurance companies are at the forefront of those. So security is going to be a big concern going forward, and the regulation and the tightening of regulations around, especially high voltage installations, but also even your low voltage installation. So your insurers are going to be more and more stricter. So before, I mean, an insurer would just require a certificate that says, this installation was compliant. But going forward, they'd be more stringent. They'd look at, what were the fire suppression mechanisms if the claim is fire related. What was where was it installed? Was it a fire protective area? Was the fire suppressing equipment nearby? Does the battery have a built-in fire suppression system? Stuff like that. So those kind of things are going to be very important going forward. And the last thing I'm beginning to see is the focus on integration. So everything is being integrated. So you have other players who are trying to integrate inverter and battery. You have us who's taking the lead in integrating not only inverter and battery, but everything around the plant. So just as a typical example, you now have products that are all in one. So it's an all-in-one inverter, all-in-one battery. The trend there is going to be, you're going to get an all-in-one, charger for your electric vehicle, things like that. So there's a push for integration of multiple previously separated systems to integrate them and have them work as one. But with us, the focus and what we see as being very important is the integration of things that you cannot even integrate into one physically, as an all-in-one to begin with. So you can't have a inverter, battery, and generator into one. But you can have them communicate seamlessly and operate seamlessly. You can't have a fire suppression built. You can. We're working on that as well. Fire suppression, communicating fire suppressions information into batteries, getting real-time data, things like this. So the holistic management of more than just batteries, but the plant, that's where I think the future lies.
Super interesting. Thanks for sharing that insight, both on the regulatory insurance side and then just, where the tech is going and where some of those advancements are. And yeah, to hear you say it so clearly, I also recognize that trend, but I haven't been able to kind of pinpoint those two things so clearly. So thank you for that. Okay, last question. Can your battery range operate in regions with the higher temperature conditions without the need for air conditioning? And I'm sure like a related point would be the IP rating.
So we do recommend air conditioning, even in regions where batteries, the temperatures aren't fairly high. So even in South Africa, there are certain regions that temperatures don't really get high. However, as you use the battery, and as they work hard, they would need cooling. So we do recommend, as part of any installation, that you have a HVAC or air conditioning system. So we do not recommend that our batteries are just used without any air conditioning. So, and more so at higher temperatures, we do require air conditioning, definitely. So what we can maybe discuss is the details around the size and the specifics of this air conditioning in higher temperatures. So how high does the temperature go and what kind of cooling is required? But definitely cooling is required.
Got it. All right, Taole. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks
There
for
is a last. Oh, sorry.
Oh, there's another one we missed. Oh,
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
technical support team physically on the ground in Nigeria. We can both answer this. Yes, vis-a-vis Odyssey, we have technical support on the ground. We've been in the market for a long time. And we represent iGen as well as some other leading kind of OEMs. And we have that with our own staff as well as two aftercare technical partners who are very experienced in lithium high voltage installations across the country. The first CNI projects to take lithium high voltage were done by our aftercare technical support teams. Feel free to add anything, Taole.
No, I think you've covered most of it.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. If your questions were not answered or if you'd like to continue the conversation, please get in touch with us offline. And you can get a copy again of this presentation on the website shared, Odyssey Procure. And thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.